Welcome to the LinkedIn studio at Cannes. I'm Julia Cabral, Senior Director of Product Marketing at LinkedIn. In an AI-driven world, B2B buyers aren't discovering brands the same way they used to. Increasingly, they're turning to AI and more conversational search. And what that means is that what gets surfaced in their answers isn't which brand has spent the most money, it's the ones that have earned the most trust and credibility. That means that creators are playing more and more of a role in this B2B buyer discovery journey. We're going to talk about this today with some people who are sitting at the center of this shift, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about what's changing and who holds the power in B2B marketing. So today we'll be exploring how creators have become an incredibly powerful force in this shift. In that new equation, the smartest companies are leveraging B2B creators increasingly to build that trust and authority in a world powered by generative AI. So I'm excited to talk to three people who are at the center of this shift. We'll start with quick introductions. So tell us who you are, what you do, and I'd love to know whether you think AI is more of a threat or an opportunity for creators right now.
Great, I'm Kai Yuryev. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Scalable alongside Jasmine. We are a new media company focused on the business of the creator economy. And I think it's more of an opportunity, but I think we're also still early days where creators haven't been able to fully unlock the potential yet.
Okay, Jasmine.
Jasmine Enberg, co-founder and co-CEO of Scalable alongside Kai Yuryev. I also think AI is definitely more of an opportunity than a threat for creators, and that's playing out in so many different ways. I mean, you see AI companies spending more and more money on influencer marketing. You also see that some of the top sources that LLMs use to cite or to give answers are creator platforms like LinkedIn, like YouTube, like Reddit. Of course, that comes with its own challenges, but it really is a new distribution channel for a lot of creators as well.
Awesome. And Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Bonatadabas. I run corporate affairs and communications at PayPal. And it's exciting to be alongside of creators. And we view influencers, creators as one of the same now. For us, this is an exciting opportunity to help them grow their businesses. So we've partnered with the likes of Canva and others. How do we get money to them faster on transactions as they build their brands, as they continue to grow their content hub and engage what's a very, very large user base these days?
Amazing. So Amy, you'll take the brand side, and then Kai and Jasmine,
Great.
You are creators in your own right, and you're experts in the creator economy. So I'm excited to dive into it. All right, I'm going to start with Jasmine. There's more content out there than ever, and buyers know that a lot of it is AI generated. So how do creators actually stay credible in this environment?
Well, so I think the answer depends on what type of creator you are, but one thing I think that goes kind of across the board is having a point of view, and we see that over and over again, and it's a way for creators to stand out as there is more content and more of that is AI generated. The other thing we've been thinking a lot about at Scalable too is how we're designing our content for this new AI era. So we think a lot about how to make sure that we're answering the questions that people are actually asking online about the business of the creator economy, and doing so in a way that is readable by LLMs. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're changing the content that we produce, but really thinking about the packaging and how we bring it all to life. And some of that actually came from a panel I was at not too long ago where they had an executive from Mondelez, and they were talking about how Oreo is the #1 most popular cookie brand in the world, but Oreo only shows up in LLM responses about 10% of the time. And the reason for that was that they weren't answering the questions that people were asking about cookies, like what is the best cookie to bring to a kid's birthday party? And so they were thinking about how to change their content strategy. A lot of that actually had to do with bringing more creator content in to answer those questions as well.
Amazing. Kaya, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would add too, there's things you can do to optimize, right? Like if you have a YouTube channel and you're not putting chapters, everything needs to be text so that it can be fed into the LLMs. It's interesting because we're starting to see some newsletter subscribers come through ChatGPT, but we don't have a lot of information about how we're showing up, right? We know which newsletter, so we know the topics that we're coming through, but we'd love more data on it. But I think at the same time, you can't just chase these trends. You want to optimize, but at the end of the day, you have to create high quality content. If we think about the previous era of social media and when publishers were trying to optimize for Facebook traffic, if you think about the BuzzFeeds of the world and how that kind of has played out, the New Yorkers, the New York Times, they're still here. They focused on high quality content. So we keep that in mind as well. There's strategies that you can implement, but at the end of the day, you have to serve the audience too.
I love that. Quality content always wins. Amy, 94% of buyers are now using AI in their purchase journey. So what does that mean for how brands are building authority?
Yeah, it's true. And I think when you think about brands and how they're showing up, and you look at creators and small businesses, what the biggest challenge, and it risks disruption to some extent, is having that content, that inventory served up in the LLMs. They don't have the resources or skill set to be able to integrate with every LLM out there. But I think that's where companies like PayPal and other large brands can help. Because for us, we have a product where for our partners and our SMBs, they actually can have their inventory served up, can have their content served up simply by working with us, so they don't have to think about that. That's as we think about LLMs and just navigating the unknown, to your point, we have to be able to kind of leverage and collaborate with others because otherwise everyone can't do it on their own. And by the way, there's still so much unknown that even I think the LLMs are figuring out.
So, yeah, things are changing really quickly,
They
which
are.
makes it hard to
They
keep up
are.
with everything.
So it's been exciting because where you're seeing, and I know we're going to talk about search in a little bit, if you see the evolution over the last couple of years, it's undeniable that the growth is very dramatic and exponential.
Yeah. Great segue. And speaking of disruption, as you mentioned, Gartner predicts that traditional search volume will drop by 50% by 2028 as people are shifting to AI and more conversational queries. So what does that mean? We'll start on the creator side. What does that mean for creators? And Kai, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think diversification of businesses has always been important, whether you're a PayPal or you're an individual creator. I mean, we have a newsletter, we have a live event that's ticketed, we have a podcast, we have all these different ways to stay in touch with people, so that helps. I mean, you never want to have one type of customer, one revenue stream, one platform. So I think that's sort of table stakes. But again, you don't want to over-optimize too. I mean, so many people that over-optimized for SEO also, and then that goes away, and then you're in a tough position. So I think diversification is key here.
But at the same time, of course, digital is so important to our business and to creators' businesses overall. But I think the question that you're asking really gets to the crux of the issue that so many creators and publishers and brands are dealing with, is that if you're thinking about LLMs or AI chatbots as only a new search tool, that's a mistake because it's also a new discovery mechanism. It's a whole new content ecosystem. I mean, that's the way that a lot of people are consuming content now. And that, again, as I said at the top, brings challenges for a lot of creators, especially in things like making sure you're being credited for the content that you're creating, sourcing, attribution, and that's going to take a lot of time to figure out. But it also brings a new opportunity and a new surface to connect with people. And we're, candidly still figuring out how to harness all of that. But it's definitely here and something that, a lot of creators are working toward.
And if I can follow up there, it sounds like you all are sort of testing and learning as you go. Has there been an insight that has been particularly informative that you would advise other creators to follow as well?
Well, it's so interesting because we had hosted an event in May and we had an OpenAI executive on stage and we asked, so many brands and publishers want to know what to do. Yeah. And he was like, I have an unsatisfactory answer because everyone asks us this and there's not the same set of optimizations you can do like you did for SEO. And he was like, the best thing you can do is create high quality content that matches the intent. Right. So that's very challenging, but our North Star is to bring the best analysis and reporting on the business of the creator economy.
And that's the stuff that does the best. Yeah. I mean, at this point, you can get information anywhere. I mean, content is infinite, but if you're bringing your own experience, your own point of view, your own sort of thought leadership, or however you want to define it into the content, I mean, that's what interests people and that's what they want to see. And I think in that environment, the human, the person behind it just becomes so much more important. And that's what we try to bring into our content
and when you have
well.
Newsletters too, there's ways that you can opt in to LLMs, taking, so, and some creators have said, no, I don't want them to do that. And we've erred on the side of, well, we want to be in the LLMs.
We're also pretty new. We're we need the discovery.
We need the discovery and we want to be there.
Well, but it would be silly if you didn't. I mean, if you hear these stats and you're still saying, no, I'm going to sit over here and wait it out, I'm worried. I'm concerned for them. We did a study similarly with 1,000 SMB and creators, and we asked, how influential do you think AI is right now and chats are, and then do you feel prepared as a creator? And 82% said they think it's critical, and they know it's critical, but 73% said they're feeling unprepared. They don't think they know enough about it to, be effective. And so we work with all of the LLMs, but we, for this particular training, we teamed up with Anthropic. And so we said, we're going to host learning sessions where we can bring thousands. We actually just hosted one this week in San Jose, where we can bring thousands of creators in to just learn and ask questions and understand how do you optimize, or if the optimization isn't quite built out yet, what is the most effective ways to serve up my content in the LLMs. And that's been really helpful because everyone's navigating the new, and this is new for everyone. So the best sources are the LLMs. And so that's why we wanted to bring our customers together with the LLM to say, let's just workshop this. And it's really spending the time to learn and to ask the questions, because everyone right now is using it for their own. Builds me, I've got like my checklist. I think I have vacations planned for the next 10 years. But how can I optimize? How can I use to be more smart? And I don't know what I don't know. But hearing from them, here's all the ways that you can tap into this. Here's the capabilities we offer. Even here in Can alone, I've learned so much from listening to these panels and hearing from, ChatGPT and hearing from Claude and the source.
The other thing I would add, though, is it's not like we're never going to use another source to find information besides chatbots. Like for me, I go to a chatbot to find some initial. You still want the social proof. You're still going to read product reviews. You're still going to take recommendations from friends and family. You're still going to go to creators. I mean, chatbots are certainly a new area of discovery, but it's not chatbots or nothing, right? Like there's still all these other places you have to show up and should show up.
And I agree with that.
And there still is a lack of trust in AI. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you see these AI companies spending so much money on creators. It's not just so that they can promote their own products, but also so they can change the perception of that people have towards the technology, because it isn't great. And I think that's one of the reasons that people still want social proof. I mean, they want to read real human reviews about things before they can make a purchase
the AI
decision.
didn't choose has never tested the product.
Actually, that's actually, I would say, if someone asked me what's the number one theme this week, it is truly that it cannot replace trust and authenticity. And that's why the creator community has grown so large. Even 3 years ago at Cannes, there were maybe a couple dozen. Now there's hundreds. I mean, in just a few years. And it's because they are growing their base because people are connected to them. They have the same interest, the same passion, whatever it is, their content resonates and they trust them. So the LLMs, they know this, and that's why, they are reaching out and making sure that creator is part of the ecosystem, because without it, they will not have the trust and authenticity that you need to really be able to scale.
And I love that you put it that way, because even just a year ago, I mean, there was so much talk about how AI content was just going to replace creator content, and did marketers even need to work with creators anymore? And the obvious answer, and we all know this, is yes. And that's because it's not just about the content with the creator, it's about the journey, and it's about who they are. And people really connect with them on a personal level, and that's something that you just cannot replace with AI.
You cannot.
I love that point. And we were talking backstage about how much Cannes has changed and the presence of creators at Cannes has changed. And so I think this is right exactly in that wheelhouse of the role of creators just growing at Cannes. Okay, so speaking of creators, and let's talk some predictions. Do you have a bold prediction about B2B creator marketing over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I can start. I mean, I think it's just going to get much more fun and out of the box. I think B2B can be a little bit boring, right? But I think we've seen creators like Corporate Natalie, right, who brings humor and fun to the space. I mean, I think especially, within AI companies, they're raising, sometimes billions of dollars, which is pretty crazy. And they all have to compete and stand out. And we're seeing some really kind of innovative and interesting campaigns. I mean, Claude from Anthropic won a Webby Award, right? Like they're in the cultural kind of zeitgeist. So I think we're going to see B2B brands, not just working with technical creators or B2B influencers, but all, lifestyle, comedy, and just
or like
getting
Microsoft and Alex Earl.
Yes,
Such a fun collaboration.
So I think we're just going to get a little more out of the box.
You guys had a great take on that on your podcast. Was there any insight from either Corporate Natalie or the Alex Earl discussion that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both came across the video. I mean, she had posted a vlog of her trip to Microsoft's headquarters in Seattle. On TikTok, on Instagram, which are also, platforms that you don't generally associate with a company like Microsoft, right? Like you would think that they'd be working with technical creators, maybe on a platform like LinkedIn. But it brings a whole new audience in to be working with, somebody like Alex Earl, who's the lifestyle creator and isn't generally, speaking about these things. And the one part that really stood out to us is the quietest room in the world is in Microsoft's headquarters. And she went in there. Both of us love silence.
Yeah.
So we're
Like,
like,
we
we
need
need
to
to
work
go.
Yeah, and
We
like
need to
Glam
get there.
getting done silence and
Yeah.
Alex was the same way.
Yeah.
But she went and tested it and just showed like a different fun side of the
Yeah.
headquarters versus being like, this is the Surface Pro, right? So we're just
And we
seeing, I
watched
think-
it from
yeah.
beginning to
Yeah,
end
it was
because
great.
it was
and I
so
learned
great.
something. Yeah. So I think it's just more of this out of the box thinking that you don't associate with B2B brands.
For sure.
And I think from a brand perspective, the traditional marketing funnel is no longer. I mean, it's just not effective. You have to be thinking in how do I reach people through multiple channels? And brands that aren't thinking about the creator community will not be here in a few years. And so the landscape has changed. For us, we have PayPal, but also Venmo. And so those are such fun brands to be able to, we've partnered with Alex, we've done a lot
And
with
Jake
Jordan
Shane.
and Live.
Such
What's that?
fun- And Jake Shane.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
fun
exactly.
campaigns, yeah.
So for us, it's finding the right creators who can bring the brand to life and who can do so authentically.
Yeah.
We've talked about authenticity, but whether it's a sporting event and partnering with these athletes, given the NIL change and now they're being paid, partnering with athletes whose brands are connected to ours. We partnered with Jeremiah Love, who was a top NFL draft pick. And what was so exciting about that is when we were meeting with him to decide, is this the right partnership? He said, before the sports thing became a thing, I actually was in the comic book business. So I was like, that's interesting. And he's like, and PayPal is how I transacted.
Wow.
And so for him, there was already a connection before NIL. And so it's those type of partnerships you're like, okay, there's authenticity. You're speaking from a place of, I use the brand, I love the brand, I trust the brand. Those are the best type of partnerships.
Yeah. And if we kind of tie these things together, I know the word authenticity is very overplayed, but I think that everyone is still looking for real humans to be sharing their opinions
Right.
and what they think and tell us a story and bring us on that journey. So maybe just to sort of close us out, as brands think about partnering with creators, like what are the signals that you look for to find that great creator who's going to be able to tell your brand story in the most kind of resonant
It's the
way
ones
possible?
that have the most connection to it. And so I use the example of Jeremiah Love because it's not every day that you meet someone that's like, I really needed PayPal and I loved PayPal before this whole sports thing even took off, and now I need to have millions of dollars sent to my account. I want to use someone who I trust and who I know my money is safe with. And so that's just one example. But with all of the influencers, creators that we partner with, I feel like I can speak to this from a place of passion, right? And so that's what we look for.
And the LLMs aren't going to be able to bring the passion.
They won't.
Yeah.
They won't. There's some things LLMs just can't do, and that is one.
They also cannot serve rosé on rooftops and cans.
Or drink the rosé.
Or drink the rosé. So the humans will still win there. Well, thank you so much. This was a fun conversation. It was
great.
delightful
Thank
to
you.
have you all here in the LinkedIn studio at Cannes. So I hope you have a great rest of your week and stay
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.